Hey everyone, Fina here from Fina Reads. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. It is August TBR time, or since TBRs are not working, August books I may or may not read time. And since it is frickin' hot, I apologize if you can hear the air condition in the background. There's just no way I sit in this room without air condition. We have to chop chop, be really fast today and get through the books quickly, which is going to be interesting because this list is frickin' long. Last time I separated by genre I want to read. This time I read by urgency in which I have to read those books, because there are a couple that I have to read no matter what. There is no question about it. I will read them this month. And then there's a pool of other books that I'd like to get to. I will not get to all of them, but I want to have a good pool of books that I can pick from to satisfy my mood reader, but to also ensure I continue series and read the books that I really want to read, etc., etc., etc. As we said, it's hot. Let's start. And the first book that I want to mention is Darktown by Palmer Pickering, which is book 1 or level 1 in the Dragon's Crawl. It's a lit RPG book, and I'm participating in a book tour for this one, so I have to read it. And I signed up for this one in particular, because I really wanted to read a book by Palmer Pickering for a while. I love the blurb of her Heliotrope series, which I haven't read yet, unfortunately, but participating in that book tour kind of forced me into reading one of her books. And she was kind enough to send me a copy that I can read for that book tour. And I'm really excited about it, especially since I am getting a liking for lit RPG lately. So I thought, perfect, why not try another one? And this book is really cool. I just show you one of them. It has a bunch of illustrations in here. So not just one or two, there are a bunch of illustrations in this book. So it is really well put together, and I'm really excited about reading this. I've only heard good things from people like Kay or Kate at the Literary Apothecary and others. So I'm excited to get to that. Book number 2 and 3 are Baby Teeth and Dear Hannah by Zoje Stage books. At least for Baby Teeth, I'm surprised that I actually don't have a copy here, because it's one of my favorite horror/thriller books. Baby Teeth is a reread for me. I've read that 2 or 3 years ago. It was a recommendation from Jake over at the Bookish Drummer, and I loved this book. And I since then have been falling in love with Zoje Stage as an author. So obviously I'm incredibly excited to be reading Dear Hannah, which is a sequel to Baby Teeth. But I wanted to reread Baby Teeth first, just to remind myself a little bit of what happened back then, to then better enjoy Dear Hannah. Zoje Stage said you don't have to read Baby Teeth in order to enjoy Dear Hannah, but there are some Easter eggs, some mentions in there that might help if you've read Baby Teeth beforehand. This is a buddy read together with Jake from the Bookish Drummer and Stacy from the Chapter Conundrum. And the last book that I will read no matter what is Conqueror's Blood by Samuel Akhtar, which is book 2 of the Gunmetal God saga. I am currently in the middle of a reread of this series because book 4 is coming out end of August, early September. I'm still not 100% sure. Might even be later this year. How about that? So I've read book 1 in July. I want to read book 2 in August, potentially book 3. We'll see. They are chunky, so I might not get to book 3 in August. Maybe I will start it in August. We will see when we get there. But I've enjoyed my reread of Gunmetal Gods like crazy. I just love this book. I think it's so well written. I have so much fun with that story, although fun might be the wrong word given how gruesome and dark this whole world is. But I enjoy literally everything about this book. And I know Conqueror's Blood gets a whole chunk better. Not that the first book is bad, but this one opens up a whole new world. Fits the theme if you think about it a little bit. With 2 new POVs, and I am so excited for those 2. I'm just excited for reading this one. Let's get into the buddy read section. There are 4 buddy reads that I would like to join. I will likely not be able to join all of them, so we'll see what fits into where and which book tickles my fancy the moment I am at that point to pick up a buddy read. Starting with For the Killing of Kings by Howard Andrew Jones. This is a buddy read over at Andrew's Wizardly Reads channel. He just read, I'm blanking on the name right now, but another book by Howard Andrew Jones, fell in love with it, said it's one of his best fantasy books that he's ever read. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quite sure if that's actually what he said, but he loved it. At one point, after watching his review, it clicked in my head. I was like, I have a book by this guy at home. I mean, obviously I want to read this other book that Andrew has been raving about, but I threw out, hey Andrew, what about this one? I'm sure you have this too, right? Do we want to read this together? And he said yes. And Nico is joining us from Nico's book review. I'm pretty sure about that. I don't know who else might be joining. Check out Andrew's channel. He might be talking about that. Check out his Discord. I'm sure he has a channel up for that. But we wanted to read this in August. And I'm super excited about it because this is one of those random books that I picked up at whatever online cheapo bookstore forever ago. And if you've looked very closely, you've probably seen this at the back of my bookshelves in other videos before because it has been sitting there for quite some time. Another buddy read that I'm excited about is the continuation of the Ray Bradbury book club over on Jake's channel, The Bookish Drummer. This month we are reading The Martian Chronicles. Also a book that I had on my shelves for quite some time that I wanted to read for quite some time. So I'm hoping that this is one that I can get to. This, we'll have to see. It's a bit shorter. The font is actually pretty big here. So I hope it's a quick read and that I can squeeze it in somewhere. I have to say though, I'm a little bit classic sci-fi out at the moment. I've read a bunch of classic sci-fi short stories lately, more on that on my July wrap-up, but you can also check out my June wrap-up because I read Illustrated Man in June. Anyway, so I'll see if I can get to that. Next up, also over on Jake's channel, his August Thrill, Chill, or Kill book club is Sherry Lapina's What Have You Done? This is one where it is a big maybe. I'm not super eager to read something by Sherry Lapina. I know she is a bigger name on the thriller side of things. It's one of the first books where I wouldn't be too sad about if I push it aside or if I don't get to it. But I had a lot of fun so far discovering new authors, discovering new books with the Thrill, Chill, Kill book club. So I want to keep an open mind. And the last one is also a very big maybe. It's called Lost Souls by Ryan Steffington. The author actually is doing a buddy read also on Andrew's channel. He asked around and a couple of people signed up for that. So he did it for August because one, it's his birthday month. Happy birthday. And the sequel, Eternal Dreams, will be releasing sometime around August as well. So at a super high level, it's about a space station where the main character Maximus is living. He is kind of a, has a meh life and he is kind of living to live, but nothing exciting happens. That's what it sounds like. Again, I'm paraphrasing. But then he stumbles into a situation where a shocking revelation about the rings, that's the space station name, about the rings underbelly intertwine with the hidden truths of his lineage, and he is propelled into action. So generally, it had a couple of trigger words where I'm like, that sounds interesting. I definitely have it on my, to read list. If it's not August, I will not forget about it. And the cover also did it for me. I really enjoyed the cover design itself and thought it was quite interesting. So I'm definitely curious about it, but we'll see if I have a chance to actually get to this book. And then a book that is a carryover from July that I definitely do not want to forget and do want to read is The Gunslinger by Stephen King. I did not get to it in my July month. Somehow the first half of July was over and I barely finished one book in that first 2 weeks. And then I sat there and was like, shoot, there are a couple more books that I need to get done. This was unfortunately not one of them. So Gunslinger, still high on my list. I really, just for the lack of better words, really want to read The Dark Tower and immerse myself into the series. Both Ian and Jake already said, hey, book 1 is weird, read it, you'll be fine, read book 2 next, and then everything will start to make sense. And I've heard otherwise good things about The Dark Tower, and I've heard good things about the weirdness of it, and I do enjoy a good weird book. I'm starting to ramble, I want to read this. I think that's the short summary of that. And then we're going into series continuation. There are a couple of priority fantasy series, mostly that I want to make sure I continue and don't forget. One of the big ones that I do not want to forget and that I need to continue really soon because I will otherwise fall off the bandwagon and I do not want this, that is Malazan, book number 5, Midnight Tides. That's where I'm at right now. I finished House of Chains by now 3 months ago, and that's too long. I need to continue reading this. Otherwise I start forgetting things, or I will just simply not be motivated to continue reading this series, and this cannot happen. I already read 4 freaking books of this series. I do not wanna just stop. not possible, especially not after I just ordered the broken binding editions. No, ain't gonna happen. This has to be read. We'll see if it's August. Again, chunka, and I already have a bunch of chunky books on here, but I need to. If I don't at least start in August, I probably will not finish it in August. I highly doubt that. But I should at least start in August to make sure I continue with the series. The next series that I need to continue and do not want to stop is the Arcane Ascension series by Andrew Rowe, with book 2 being On the Shoulders of Titans. So I read book 1 in July. More on that in my July wrap-up that is coming shortly. But book 2 On the Shoulders of Titans is the next one in the series, and also the next one in the recommended reading order by the author. And I loved it. I mean, are you kidding me? Sufficiently Advanced Magic was amazing. I definitely want to know how this series continues, how the story continues, what happens next with the characters. That lit RPG angle is super fun. As I said earlier with Ducktown, right? Like, this book really got me excited about lit RPG. It's not that I'm completely new to that. I've read 1 or 2 other books in that genre before, but somehow it just got me right now, and I'm excited to explore more in that subgenre. But I do not want to start a bunch of series. I want to finish this one first with the big maybe, because they are not running away. There's no urgency to it. Is Driftwood Dairy, which is book 3 in the Dead Rockstar series by Layla Lawson, and I've loved book 1 and 2. It's an urban fantasy about a young woman that lives in a trailer park. She has a crappy life and she just hates her life right now, and she accidentally summons a rock star that was actually dead and is now a zombie thanks to her. And you know, chaos ensues. Book 1 and 2 were a blast. It is hilarious. It is a great story. It is a lot of fun. And book 3 is finally coming out in August. Technically, since it has been a while, I wanted to reread book 1 and 2 before starting book 3. We'll see. That might be a bit too ambitious for August. Just a tiny bit. We'll see if it happens. Again, big maybe. Who knows? I have a lot of priorities. If everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. That's how this works, right? Well, so we read everything. Easy peasy. All right, folks, what are your reading plans for the month of August? Do you have something that you're crazy excited about? Let us know down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the books that I'm going to read in the next month. And if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button as well so you see how my TBR turn out. Did I read all the books then in August? You will see it in September. Did I skip on them? Did I completely throw everything away and do something entirely different? We will see. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.